I did. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
The one in the mirror is well dodgy though. Like, look at that bit. That was like the first thing we did. So I'm like, borrowed many things perhaps from Joshua, but channeling my inner sexuality. That's one. But so isn't it funny when you're on the bus and blah, 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 blah. And because of his approach of like ripping it up at the end of every year or whatever, seeing the funny side of pointing at things and laughing, and you start to turn inward and explore that darkness. I thought there was perhaps a similarity between that and song. Because it isn't like something like, oh, every musician wants to be a comedian and vice versa. It's bollocks. There's nowhere that is. It seems terrifying. Something just better left alone. Whilst I think the last record has its merits, it felt like once we started playing it live, it kind of exhausted itself pretty quickly. And that's why we wrote Are You Mine, because the touring had gone on to, you know, coming up to like a year or something then. So we need something fresh. And the rest of the record is really is just exploring that. Glastonbury was great. We've had a wonderful summer having you with you. Excited about this new record. So I suppose that, yeah, there is a confidence come from somewhere. No, I don't think so. I can't. Can you imagine? That's where it all began. Life's changed forever.
But maybe that's because they've all been really good. Like, so I know there's nothing to be afraid of. It's not as under the microscope, perhaps, as like our first record was very kind of like I was pointing at things and talking about. Whereas now, maybe it's a little bit more comes from within somewhere. It's different every time. On this record, a lot of it came from little ideas that we'd all had. I kind of write to these kind of scratchy recordings of that, rather than sit there with the acoustic guitar or something. The words to I Wanna Be Yours come from a poem by John Cooper Clarke. I'm a very big fan of his. Let me be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your guts. Liking the name Arctic Monkeys, because it's a pretty dreadful band name, like I think we all agree. There's band going, Mr. Clarke. And he's like, oh, that's great. It's just a picture of trauma. You know, it's this monkey like in the snow, and he doesn't know what he's doing there. I suppose the goals aren't as like easy to explain as just a show. Maybe the ambition lies like in the studio a little bit more now, of course. I doubt that.
Put it into something quite as succinct as that, but perhaps in the next hour or so. I haven't thought about that bowl for a while. I might have lost something that I had back then. Before the piano. But before that I'd been working on it at home, and well, I think I'd sit every time I felt like I sat with the guitar, I was suspicious of where it was going to go. I think I had a pretty good idea of, you know, what the outcome might be, which was completely contrary to how I felt when I sat at this piano. Suddenly, you know, the imagination was ignited more. I was a lot more excited about that than I had been about the piano. My dad played a bit. although he wouldn't call it his first instrument either, I don't think. His stepdad was a really good pianist. So they were one at my grandma and one at home. So I'd always played a little bit here and there, and obviously like when you come to places like this, which I've done a few times in the past 12 years or whatever, I'd occasionally find myself sat at the piano doing one or two things here and there that are linked from the same time. Ideas beyond that, you know, it all kind of fell into place after that, after the arrival of the piano. Some of the stuff on this album, at home growing up, than I am or my mother is, and I think it's sort of him kind of on piano I'm very much reminded of that, like when I hear this record, it reminds me of things I sort of remember hearing as a kid. This past few weeks we've been rehearsing and there are certain bits that I sort of think kind of reminds my dad would do. Or, you know, the idea of space travel or like, you know, time travel or whatever it might be is by my estimation, it was used to put out there an idea of actually about the world we're living in. And then I sort of ended up, I suppose, making a world of my own after that. Box of language related to science fiction, like all busy. So I guess that was the only song title I had on there that was that suggested this idea of a hotel complex. The chord progressions or the music I was composing, let's say, on the piano and like on these recordings that I was making, definitely informed the lyrics, I feel, as much as any films I was watching or anything that was going on in front of me. I think it often does seem like it really does come from. It seems to suggest things as much as, if not more than. It doesn't make a great deal of sense. I think it's still somehow, to me, telling a story as well. Do whatever it's going to do. I think it takes the learn from some songwriters that I admire. Let it just, let it just take your time. I think that is nothing more than me. I'm speaking to no one really but myself.
Maybe both. I suppose there's. But I guess it probably leans in the favour of A. No, I don't think so. I can't. I don't think imagine. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It's the one in the mirror is well dodgy though. That was the first thing. I've borrowed many things perhaps from Joshua, but channeling my inner sexuality. That's one standard thing. So at Comedy Awards, when he's talking about this comedian that I think a lot of comedians now perhaps see as like an inspiration. His name's George Carlin. He was explaining about, he said you start off writing jokes, pointing at things, and so isn't it funny when you're on the bus and blah, blah, blah. Because of his approach is like written it up at the end of it. Seeing the funny side of pointing at things and laughing, you start to turn inward and explore that darkness. What perhaps a similarity between that and song. Because there isn't like somebody's like, oh, every musician wants to be a comedian and vice versa, which is bollocks. There's no way I'd ever want to do it. It seems terrifying. Whilst I think the last record has its merits, it felt like once we started playing it live, it kind of exhausted itself pretty quickly, and that's why we wrote Are You Mine? Because the touring had gone on to, coming up to like a year or something then. We needed something fresh. Something like the other side of that door. And the rest of the record is really just exploring. Glastonbury was great. We had a wonderful summer, haven't we, Matthew? Very excited about this new record. I suppose that, there is a compliment from somebody. Yeah, that's where it all began. Life's changed forever. It sort of always has been. That really is what I've been banging on about like the whole time. It's not as under the microscope, perhaps, as like our first record was very kind of like I was pointing at things and talking about. Whereas now, maybe it's a little bit more comes from within. It's different at the time. On this record, a lot of it came from the music and I suppose the drums and the bass, really. And I'd have those guys. Little ideas that we'd all had, kind of write to these kind of scratchy recordings of that, rather than sit there with the guitar. I think that's responsible for the way the melodies move a little bit on it. The words to I Wanna Be Yours come from a poem by John Cooper Clarke. I'm a very big fan of his. Let me be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your dust. He was the first and probably only person that admitted to liking the name Arctic Monkeys, because it's a pretty dreadful band name, like I think we all agree. We met him after his show and we'd sort of just formed the band. There's a band going, Mr. Clarke. And he's like, oh, that's great. It's just a picture of trauma. It's this monkey like in snow. I suppose the goals aren't as like easy to explain as just a show. I mean, yeah, there's places I'd love to go and play, but of course, yeah, I doubt that. I thought about that bowl for a while. I might have lost something that I had, but I can't remember having any ideas before, my spare room, whatever, little studio, or before that I've been working on it at home, and the guitar had seemed to had sort of lost its ability to give me ideas. I sat with the guitar. I was suspicious of where it was going to go. I think I had pretty good idea what the outcome might be, which was completely contrary to that nations united once more. I remember like a few years after that when I got into playing guitar. As a teenager, I was a lot more excited about that than I had been about the piano. Dad played with it. Although he wouldn't call it his first instrument either, I don't think. His stepdad was a really good pianist. So they were one in grandma, one at home. So I'd always played a little bit.
here and there, and obviously like coming from places like this, which I've done a few times in the past 12 years or whatever, that I occasionally find myself back at the piano still one or two things here and there. On the Puppets album, the song Everything You Come to Expect, I wrote on the organ that I wrote. Things I wrote on keyboards that were that are linked to like kind of from the same time at the start. But as far as any ideas beyond that, you know, it all kind of fell into place after that. Some stuff on the album, which very much reminds me of the types of things that I was used to hearing my dad play sort of growing up. He's a lot more into jazz than I am modern, and I think it's sort of him kind of sort of remember hearing as a kid. I remember my dad. The worlds that are created within, or you know, the idea of space travel or time travel or whatever it might be, is quite often, it seems to me, by my estimation, it was used to put out there an idea of actually about the world we're living in. I think personally I became interested in that idea, and I suppose that's where the song science fiction, well, that's what the song sort of explores a little bit, and then I sort of ended up written a world of my own. So it seemed to make sense to me to name it after the place, and I guess that was the only song title I had in there that was suggesting this idea of, you know, hotel complex. It often does seem like it really does come from just suggested as much as it's not more than. I think it's still somehow it sort of takes the whole 11 tracks to sort of tell the story, to do its job or do whatever it's going to do. That I learned from some songwriters that I admire, just trying to not put it succinctly, let it, yeah, let it take your time. Like the one laid out there, yeah, I think that is nothing more than me. I'm speaking to no one really but myself there.